Attention. Due to the nature of the films discussed, the Civil Gore podcast may contain adult language and themes.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode 84 of the Civil Gore podcast. I am your host, Tim.
And I am your host, not Tim. No, of course, it's Brian. I figured I like to spice it up every once in a while again. And try and surprise Tim with a stupid joke like that one. so sorry, Tim.
You enjoying the holidays, Brian?
I am. How about you?
I am. I'm feeling a little rushed. I'm at that point in the shopping season where you go, oh, crap. We've only got like a week.
Yeah.
Really got more than that a little bit, I guess. By the time the show drops, we'll have just over a week.
I know. Yeah.
It's kind of scary.
It is. And, and it's like, and I had to be different this year a little bit because, now both two of my brothers, actually, one's in LA, one's in Seattle. So it's like I had to ship gifts and figure out ways to get stuff places because, my one brother, it's like he was in his temporary place, moving into his regular place, so he had to send stuff to his P.O. boxes and stuff. And then some of the stuff we're bringing, like the smaller stuff, we can bring. So and then when we head out to our California trip, we're making a few days stop in L.A. and then heading over to the Bay Area to Julie's family. So it'll be kind of it's like I had to be creative this year in ways that I'm not used to. It was a lot of shipping.
Yeah, it's sneaking up. I'm one of those people that I always panic at the very last minute and think that I didn't get people enough or I didn't get the right thing. So I end up buying like a bunch of stuff the week before Christmas and probably just go overboard. So that's kind of the mode I'm in right now.
Yeah, I tend to do the same thing. Or then it's like, it's funny. It's like you buy that, you find a thing, you're like, this is a great gift. I think this is perfect for them, and you buy it, and right after you hit send, you have that well, maybe it's not the perfect gift. It's like that remorse right after the send.
Yeah, or the thing where I'm
convinced.
I'm convinced that they already have it.
Right.
Oh crap! Right. I know I saw it in their house. I just know it.
Yeah, and I know I make it super difficult for people because, with all my Blu-rays and things I buy, and I used to be terrible. I literally used to put all stuff on Amazon wishlist, but then start buying it and forgetting to take it off of Amazon wishlist. So I would end up with duplicates, all self-imposed. But so now I'm good. Anything on that wish list, I do not touch until after the holidays. So.
Yeah, well, it's going to be fun. I think it'll be fun. I think the kids are going to have a great Christmas this year. I don't really need much. Like you said, I buy most of my stuff throughout the year, so yeah. I just like making sure the kids have a good Christmas. So.
Yeah. And they're especially they deserve an extra good Christmas this year since with the hurricane and how good they were at Universal. And just troopers. Yeah, they
were good kids. All right, well, Brian, let's get right into it. This is our first chop. So I finished. I feel weird not having an alphabet project.
Oh my god, that's right.
I was like, did I forget something? No, I got to come up with a new project for the new year. I'll have something cooked up. But I did finish the Halloween 2018 novelization.
Oh, yeah, I actually started that. I'm about almost halfway through. I'm interested to see how what your opinion is on it. So if I should continue to read it or do I stop?
Well, my opinion is this. Do you need to read it? No, because it's very, very close to the final screenplay. Extremely close. In fact, the only things that I noticed that were different were the deleted scenes that have been announced for the upcoming Blu-ray.
Right.
So I already knew about those anyway because I'd already read about them. And so... yeah, I mean, it follows the screenplay so closely that I'm not sure it's a necessity to read. Of course, if you're a fan, you'll enjoy it. Some of those movie novelizations are way different because they were written early and there was a lot of drafts of the screenplay after they came out, or they add a lot more background information that you don't get in the movie. I don't really feel that's the case in this one, although I will say... back when we were talking about the movie and we were talking about what is Michael's motivation, is he after Laurie Strode or is he just a mindless killing machine? Now that they're not brother and sister in the canon, is that Is there a, has this changed the dynamic? I will say the novel drops a handful of hints that Michael is still obsessed with Laurie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I'm not up to that part yet. I'm up to the part in I guess semi-spoiler. I'm at the part where he it's right after he kind of escapes. So
yeah, it's very, very subtle, and I could see how one could argue that was just the writer maybe taking his own thoughts on the history of the franchise into play in the writing. But I caught a couple of clues that lead me to believe that there was still some connection there. And that Michael still wanted to kill Laurie, and it wasn't just he just randomly happened to escape and randomly decided to. Now, granted, I know now we're getting real crazy spoiler territory, but I know that a lot of this was contrived and set up. It wasn't like Michael had a blueprint to go find her, or anything. But I don't know. I felt like the book kind of gave a little bit of hint as to Michael's thoughts and that he may be going after her.
Yeah, only if they kept in that deleted scene where he has the map where it says Strode is here, and then he could follow it, and he definitely didn't have a GPS going on, or anything.
So I hope I didn't give too much away there. But if you haven't seen Halloween by now, you're probably not a true Civil War fan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and we will revisit it, because actually, right after we get back from our break and start season 3, I think the Blu-ray is released within the first 2 weeks of it. So, and like we did promise, we would do a more spoilerific review of it.
Right.
With once the Blu-ray comes out and everyone can see it. I mean, we may even put it in. I'm thinking more of like maybe a little bonus mini-sode we throw in there as just a little segment. Not to keep a whole episode on it again.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because I mean, we don't want to do an episode where we talk about it again, just more in depth. That we like to give our listeners new content if we can. So we'll So I guess we'll probably just do a little mini-sode, like bonus kind of thing of our, more spoiler free. So that way you're not missing out on a regular episode if you still have not seen it by that point.
Jeez.
So.
Yeah. But anyway, I do want to see it again. Although after reading the book, I felt like I have seen it again.
Oh, there you go.
It's that close, but interesting. I keep seeing different mixed reviews. I mean, mostly positive, but I've seen people point out flaws they see in the movie and stuff. It's really, really fascinating to see people debate this film because it's so polarizing.
Well, I can't wait till it does come out on Blu-ray and I can watch it again and really look in and go back if I want to see something again real quick, just to see if we can find some of those subtle nods that maybe the book has really was onto something there, Right. I do know, I remember the book did on a couple of scenes early on. They kind of did, obviously, because it's a book, you can get that little extra exposition on what the character might be thinking, and what you don't always get in the movie. I mean, I think there was a little bit stuff that they were saying that I'm kind of curious. The opening scene where Laurie's in the house with the podcasters. I want to see if. Because they kind of said something about the chair she did, and I'm like, I want to see if that was in the movie. I don't remember it that way.
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that is what I want to see. And that's not a big spoiler or anything. I mean, you've seen that scene in the trailer and stuff, so.
Yeah. All right, so next up, Blumhouse has an Into the Dark series on Hulu, and I have not checked any of these out yet, unfortunately.
I know, I haven't either. I need to start now that I have the Hulu, that subscription I got.
But this is interesting. There's an all-female horror movie called New Year, New You. 85-minute song, stars Sophia. Is it Takal?
No, she's a director. She's a director.
She's a director.
It's an all-female director, directing and cast. So
nice. Okay, she did Green and Always Shine.
Yeah, I think Always Shine was on. I want to say on Shudder. Actually,
okay. I'll have to go check those out.
Yeah.
And this will be December 28th, releasing on Hulu, and the plot centers on a group of old high school friends who reunite in a house for New Year's Eve where they are forced to confront traumas from their past.
So it sounds like it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's an interesting take on the holiday format,
Right, and I think that's what this whole series is, correct? It's each thing is supposed to take on a different holiday.
I don't know because I haven't watched any of them.
Yeah, I think there's like one was Halloween, one was Christmas. Yeah, so okay. I think that's how it goes. But it's I think it's I don't think they're connected in any way other than the the overall arcing of picking a holiday. So
nice. Okay.
Yeah, we should check that out. What bad horror hosts are we?
Very bad. Yeah, it's just there's so much content you can't keep up with it.
It is really hard. Especially when you're guaranteed to watch at least one movie for our show, and then around the holidays, and then throw in like all these other great shows and other movies, and then not even mentioning our traditional holiday watches that we like to watch. It's a lot.
Although I'm ahead of the game, I have watched Christmas Vacation, and I have watched White Christmas so far.
Oh.
So I'm a little bit ahead of, I say ahead of the game. It's mid-December, Tim,
yeah.
but I'm a little bit ahead.
I know. I haven't watched really many of my usuals yet, I have to say. I'll probably watch more when I get out to California. We'll be at Julie's family's house. We'll probably watch some stuff there. So I'll probably I'll just pop on the iPad into the on the screen and get everyone to watch. So I'd love to show Krampus, but I don't know if I could pull that one off with my young nephews there.
But at least we got to see Kurt Russell's sack, so that's all that really matters.
Kurt Russell, and I know this is the ultimate sound drop, but I have to say Kurt Russell's sack may be one of the highlights of the holiday season.
It really is. Oh, okay. Well, tell us about the next one, Brian.
Yeah. So, Legendary Entertainment, I guess, bought the rights recently to Toxic Avenger, and they are jumping on, I guess, the IP that they own now, and are going to do a remake of it, which is kind of exciting because the original was always a real fun, campy classic. So it'll be interesting what a modern day take on it. Like, are they going to make it as cheesy as those and outlandish as the Trauma films, or are they going to try and do like more of a serious slant? I didn't read much about it yet because I kind of want to be surprised. But it'd be kind of interesting to see what take they have on it,
Well, you know what? That brings up an interesting point, and that is, if you remake a Trauma film like that, and you maybe kind of big budget it up, is it really the same? Is it really Toxic Avenger? Because that's part of the charm of that movie. It's almost like if you made like a huge big budget Puppet Master, would it be the same as what we're used to from Full Moon? Kind of. That was part of the charm is these movies low budgets. So,
and they're proud of it. It's like they know that like they intentionally make it like I think they actually if they realize they're spending too much money, they like dial it back. I really that guy like and you could see like it's such a small scope of those films intentionally, and that's why I'm saying like I kind of don't want to see anything about it. I want to just get it when it comes out. I want to watch it, and see what they do on it. I think, it's like I could see both ways of it being interesting because it's they could make it like a full out gore fest, but like a more of a horror gore fest than the comical gore fest,
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to see. We'll have to keep an eye on that one.
Yeah. Next up, big news. Joe Bob Briggs on Shudder. So the first one we kind of knew about. This is more of a
reminder. Yeah, this kind of a reminder.
So, we have a very Joe Bob Christmas coming on December 21st. Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
But then this is so exciting. He is going to have a weekly show on Shudder in early 2019.
Yes.
Boy, I'm super excited.
And that's because of us. That's all the fans. I mean, that's right. Like me and Tim. Meaning
it was totally us. I wrote a letter and said, hey, you guys need to give Joe Bob his own show. And they're like, well, you are the Civil Gore podcast.
Yeah,
so I guess.
They did. They said, and those dulcet tones speak volumes. So Tim's voice is heard loud and clear. No, what I mean, like, obviously, of course, us, the horror community and the fans that like have literally been so supportive that he went from like almost what was supposed to be like a one-off, right? The original one was supposed to be a one-off, just a nostalgic turn back to his classic show, and now he's like career resurgence, Well,
you think about it. If you have that many people crushing your website to see him, which they did, Shudder is looking at that and going, "That's subscriber money."
Yeah,
that's people who do not have Shudder who want to see Joe Bob. This is a reason for them to subscribe.
Yeah,
I mean that's a golden ticket right there, man. If you got some, that's how Netflix gets people subscribed. They have exclusives,
like Kurt Russell's sack.
Exclusives, yeah. I mean that's how these streaming services get subscribers. So I mean that was that's a cash cow for them.
Yeah, I mean, I bet you Kurt Russell's sack led to a sack of money for Netflix.
It really did.
You know?
Not that they needed any more money.
No, they really don't. But and yeah, and you know, and I'm wondering. I would actually, speaking of all kidding aside, I would love to see the stats of Shudder subscribers from that first Joe Bob special to now. Like to see, and I would be stunned if there wasn't like a massive percentage increase of new subscribers. You know, because I mean, obviously right. and what's brilliant is they spaced it enough apart so you couldn't get your free trial and get both of them. You had to like either actually sign up, you know, because you maybe you heard about it and you weren't a member, you could get that first special, you know, as like in part of your 30-day free trial. But now you wanted that Thanksgiving one, too bad, you already had your trial. Now you got to sign up, and now knowing that like you're going to get a weekly series, well, now you really got to subscribe. Yeah. And, I mean, think about it. For $6 a month, Shudder is worth every penny.
Oh, my God. If you're a horror fan, it's ridiculous. I mean, for literally the price of one rental.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Literally the price of one rental, you can have an entire catalog. I was telling Ken that the other day. I was like, it's worth it just for the 70s and 80s movies and 60s movies that you can't get in other places, because Netflix isn't going to show all those 60s movies and 70s movies. They're going to show whatever came out last year.
Right. Even Prime doesn't always have that stuff.
No. I mean, God, it's just for the classic films alone. It's so worth it.
Yeah, I think Cohn. I know he did the trial, but I think he actually subscribed because of all the good content and stuff.
Yeah.
So
skip lunch one week and then just subscribe. Skip lunch one day and you've covered your month.
I think $6 falls out of my pocket throughout the month. So I mean,
well, that would for you, money bags.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Brian's got that podcast money. So
all that podcast money we have rolling in that we.
Oh, by the way, another podcast beat us to it. Joe Bob is actually on the Astonishing Legends podcast this week. But Astonishing Legends, if you haven't listened to it, is a really good podcast. It's two guys that cover supernatural and mysteries and stuff like that. But the reason I kind of like them, because there's a lot of podcasts out there that do that. The reason I kind of like their podcast is they go really, really in depth. I mean, their shows are usually like 2+ hours.
Wow.
And usually multi-part. So they might do like 6 to 8 hours on just one mystery. So they get really, really in depth. So it's really,
I got to
really
check them out. Yeah, I got to check them out.
Astonishing Legends, really good. It's Scott Philbrook and Forrest Burgess, I think is their names.
Okay.
But yeah, Joe Bob's on their show this week, so go check him out on that. It's kind of interesting. You get to hear a lot of his background and where he came from and stuff. It's really neat.
Cool. We can't get everybody right away, so
not everybody. We're getting there.
Yeah.
So what's up next, Brian? We got another little bit of Jordan Peele news. Actually, a lot of Jordan Peele news.
Yeah. So this is his next movie he's doing is called Us, and I remember I think we mentioned about his new. We weren't sure if it was part of his little picture deal that he had or just another movie he's doing. But either way, just sign me up. And especially when I saw the synopsis and the stars of this, I'm like all in. So I'll read to you the synopsis because it was released and it kind of suggests that it's a home invasion film. And it says, a mother, Academy Award winner Lupita Nyong'o from Black Panther, Star Wars The Last Jedi, and 12 Years a Slave. I noticed they dropped her Force Awakens credit for some reason to go with The Last Jedi, which she was literally in it for 3 seconds. But even though she had a major role in Force Awakens. But oh well. But I love Lupita, so you know what? That's automatically a plus for me. She's awesome. It says, and a father, Winston Duke from Black Panther, take their kids to the beach house expecting to unplug and unwind with friends, including Emmy winner Elizabeth Moss from TV series The Handmaid's Tale. She's another great actress, Elizabeth Moss.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
Yeah, I love watching her and stuff. So, and then it says, but as night descends, their serenity turns into tension and chaos when some shocking visitors arrive uninvited. So obviously, that setup is your classic home invasion film, but nothing that Jordan Peele does is like it could just be run of the mill. So I'm really looking forward to this. I think this is going to be really cool.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. I hope he doesn't have sophomore slump and this like crashes and burns. I'm really hoping like this is at least halfway decent.
Oh, I'm sure it will. He's such a good director. It's like he's got look at that. He's got a great cast. I mean, you got when you have a great director and a great cast and a good premise, it's usually the formula for success. I'd be surprised if that was not a hit. So
yeah. Stranger Things Season 3 episode titles were announced, so spoiler alert if you don't want to hear these. But we're going to go through them right now, so skip ahead a minute or so if you don't want to hear these. First up, we have Susie, Do You Copy? The Mallrats, The Case of the Missing Lifeguard, The Sauna Test, The Source, The Birthday, The Bite, and The Battle of Starcourt.
And I think Starcourt is the name of the mall. Because I remember a little promo for it a while back. Remember they showed Steve in working at the hot dog place, and so and the mall rat. So I have a feeling they're taking one of the most iconic '80s set pieces in the mall and making it a feature of this season. Which
sounds like it, yeah.
I can't wait.
You know they're gonna play that up.
Mall. Yeah, I mean, come on, the '80s and malls go hand in hand. So. That is going to be, I think, a fun season. I think they're really going to ramp up the 80s cheese on it in the best way possible, though.
Yeah,
which is good.
Definitely. All right, guys. Well, we have a fairly short dismemberment this week, but with some really good titles on it. So let's get right to it. December 18th, 2018. These are the Blu-ray titles coming out. This is our dismemberment.
Wait, no, please, God. No, don't come, please.
All right, so first up, we got a couple of box sets to talk about. One of which I wish I had waited on, but
I know.
But we had a summer slaycation to do. That was, of course, the Saw 8 film collection has just come out.
Yeah, but you know what though? I bought the original set, the one with the 7 films in it.
Yeah,
it was only $7.99 on sale at Best Buy when I bought it.
Oh yeah, that's what I like. I think I paid $6 for it.
Yeah, and I don't think this new box set, right? Does it have anything else other than Jigsaw, which I bought separately? I don't know.
I don't know. Now I did not look to see if there had any features because I know the one we bought was just bare bones, the films. Yeah, but I don't know. That's not one I'm dying to double dip on.
Yeah, I don't think I'm definitely not going to buy all the movies again. Just unless there was just hours and hours of special features that you can't get anywhere else. I may be looking at because I'm well, really, it's I'm buying it because the first one was so cheap.
Yeah,
that's true. I mean, it was basically a Shutter month.
Yeah, it's not like we're out of a lot of money for buying that first one, I guess.
Yeah. So.
The next one up is a little interesting. It's a Predator 4 movie collection. This one includes Predator. I can't say Predator. Predator 2, Predators, and The Predator.
They got really creative with the titles, I have to say.
Yeah, I was when I first saw this, I thought, well, maybe does it go into the Alien versus Predator movies or any of that? But no,
that will come out at some point.
Oh yeah,
so you might as well just wait.
I'm waiting for the deluxe. It has every Alien movie, every Predators movie, and every Aliens versus Predators movie in one.
Yeah.
No, this one just has the. Yeah, this is just the pure Predator. I haven't seen Predators or The Predator. I don't think I've seen 1 and 2, of course, but
I remember I've seen Predator. That's the one with Adrian Brody. That one was actually pretty good. I remember. I kind of like that one. I hadn't seen, and it's funny, I haven't seen the first 2 in a long time. I bought them separately because again, it was Best Buy was having some crazy sale, and it was something like $4.99 each or something like that on Blu-ray. I'm how do you turn that down? There's just certain price points on Blu-ray where it's pretty much you're taking my money. So
I haven't seen Predator. God, why can't I not say Predator?
I don't know. Just say the Pred.
The Pred. I haven't seen Pred 2, but I watch Pred 1 all the time.
Actually, you actually sound like you're in the biz now with that. Hey, we're making a new Pred movie.
Yeah,
let's get everyone back.
It's a Pred picture.
Yeah, you'll love it.
Yeah, I've got Pred cred.
Yeah, you go. See, look at that.
I'm a Pred head. I watch a lot of Pred. I'm a Pred head.
Yeah, and just so you know, that joke we practiced 43 times.
That's right. 44th time was a charm.
Yes, right.
I wish I could talk. One of the
you're
best...
You're having a wait, and thank God, we haven't even gotten to the names yet of the actors in these movies yet. So
one of the primary skills for a podcaster should be the ability to enunciate. Yeah. And I can't do that. I can't talk.
Usually helps. Usually it's me, though, that messes up, so I don't know. I must be due for something big.
Maybe it's a celebration ale, but I'm not. I mean, I've only had half of one. It's not like it's not that strong, is it?
Maybe it's a lack of celebration ale.
Did somebody spike my celebration ale?
It could. There's a lot of stuff in that one.
There is. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with me tonight. I just, you'd think a podcaster would be able to speak properly, but
You know what? Maybe you have to just pound the rest of this one and go on to the second one, and then you'll catch up.
maybe that's it. Okay.
Yeah, get a little numb.
First up is my pick of the week.
I had a feeling this one would be for you.
Actually, these first two could be my pick of the week, honestly. But the first one just because it's older, and I have a soft spot for the really, really old ones. This is Horror of Dracula from 1958, released by Warner Archive, directed by Terence Fisher, starring Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, and Michael Gough.
Wow, you got Grand Moff Tarkin, Alfred, and Dracula in one movie.
Yeah. Jonathan Harker begets the ire of Count Dracula after he accepts a job at the vampire's castle under false pretenses.
So funny, you had trouble with Predator, but you said that whole sentence, which was so eloquently, it was like...
Yeah. Well, this one, unfortunately, does not have a lot of special features. It just has a theatrical trailer of the original UK trailer, but it does have a new remaster sourced from the Hammer BFI restoration of the film, which, to me, makes this worth owning.
Yeah, no, that's actually movie. Cool. You're going to get good quality. And by the way, I know it's not listed as a special feature, but I heard it was watched by a film historian.
Oh,
but he didn't comment on it. He just watched it.
Hang on, start pounding this celebration. All right, here we go. Next up, Dracula, Prince of Darkness from 1966. At first,
Dracula heavy month here.
Well, I thought they were being released by the same company, but they're not. I thought, well, this sounds like two titles that would be kind of related.
Yeah.
1966, Shout Factory release, actually, this time. Again, directed by Terence Fisher. That's the weird thing. It's like two movies directed by the same guy, starring the same guy, but released by two different companies. It's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Maybe you know what? Maybe it's a Christopher Lee thing.
Maybe, I don't know. Starring Christopher Lee, Barbara Shelley, Andrew Keir. Dracula is resurrected, preying on 4 unsuspecting visitors to his castle. This one is a really good disc. UK and US versions of the film. New 4K remaster of the US version struck from an interpositive from the 20th Century Fox vaults.
They are getting really creative with their terminology for
Remember, it used to be
prints.
just new 4K remaster, and now they're telling you which vault it came from.
Yeah. I remember when Letterboxd was a big thing. Remember when it would say that?
You know what? I picture you go down this long flight of stairs and you go into the basement of 20th Century Fox. Yes. And there's the big wheel that you have to spin to get into this safe. And on the nameplate, it says Vault of Horror.
Oh, yeah. That would be cool. That would be a great tour to take. Imagine that, getting to go down there. But do you think it would be like when you have to spin that wheel to get in, it's like you got like a Bob Barker guy over there saying, Come on. Oh. If you don't spin it right,
If you don't land on $1, the safe doesn't open.
Yeah.
The Price is Right is coming to town.
It is. Oh.
The Price of Right. I can't talk. The Price of Right. The Price is Right is coming to town. You can
just
go
like
see
Santa
it.
Claus.
Yeah.
Tim's
you better watch out. You better spin twice.
Instead of who hosts it now? Drew Carey.
Yeah.
So instead of Santa Claus going down Tim's chimney or Kurt Russell's sack coming down your chimney, you're gonna get Drew Carey coming down your chimney. I must say a chimney. All right. See, now it's contagious. I caught your.
The real problem is I can't edit this episode.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh boy, you guys are getting an extra treat.
We're recording this late, and I'm not gonna have time to edit it. So you're getting raw, Civil Gore raw.
Oh boy, it's like third week in a row. Next Monday, I think we're gonna have a big enough episode. That's our holiday finale. We need to make sure we record Monday.
Oh my god, we're
editing
gonna have
time.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Price is Right, coming to town.
Ooh.
And how did we get on that from Dracula, Prince of Darkness? Well, it's just a mystery.
It's because of your wheel.
That's right.
I actually know how
that's how good we are at going off topic.
Yeah, we know how to get back. Is the
amazing,
key.
Yeah.
It's like that whole thing, it's not how hard, Rocky Balboa, it's not how hard you fall down, it's how good you get up. Or whatever he said. That's like ours. It's no matter how far you get off tangent, as long as you find your way back.
That's right.
It's the key. That's the test.
Hey, and your podcast player has a 30-second skip button. So if you just can't stand us rambling on our tangent, you just keep skipping 30 seconds.
Exactly.
Until you get back.
We hope you don't, though, but yeah.
3 audio commentaries. So
Wow.
There's a new audio commentary with author Troy Howarth. New audio commentary with filmmaker Konstantin Nazer.
I want to say his name came up once because I think you paused and said his name that way the last
Nazar?
time.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Short Circuit. Hey, Laser Lips. Your mama was a snowblower.
Yeah.
And writer-producer...
Sorry. We better go quick because we'll go on a short circuit. There you go. Short circuit tangent, and we may never get back on that one. I'll start quoting that movie for the next 3 hours. The movie's only an hour and a half, so go figure. But
and writer-producer Steve Haberman. Sorry.
Oh no.
No. Anyway,
flirting dangerously with the short circuit tangent, Tim.
That could be really dangerous for a couple of 80s nerds like us.
Oh my God, would it ever? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Audio commentary with cast members Christopher Lee, Susan Farmer, Francis Matthews, and Barbara Shelley. Now that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
An audio commentary with cast members for a movie that old.
Yeah, I wonder if like when that was recorded.
Well, they brought Christopher Lee back from the dead to record it.
Well, no, but I'm saying like was it recorded? Like it could not have been recorded, obviously, around when they like filmed this because they didn't have such a thing as a commentary track. So like I wonder at what point. Like, I'm sure it was released previously, and they must have brought people back for that, unless it's not a true commentary, and it's like them just talking about the film. And
if I had to, I don't know, but it had to have been when DVDs came out, because we didn't have commentaries on VHS stuff. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of remember one, there was a videotape set I had where it was 2 tapes, and one tape had a commentary on it for one of those sets, but I don't remember what it was.
But if they did this in like the late 90s, that's perfectly feasable. I mean, these guys are not that old.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they that's what I'm saying. I'm like curious to see like how far removed. Well, it'd be interesting, like in what type of commentary it is, because like I said, it may not even be the traditional type of commentary we're used to talking about. Like it may have just been them discussing the film and they kind of play it at the appropriate times. I don't know.
Yeah. Also has a World of Hammer episode, Dracula and the Undead. Back to Black, the making of Dracula, Prince of Darkness. Super 8mm behind the scenes footage. Now, that's cool.
That's gotta be cool, yeah.
Theatrical trailers and a still gallery. So I don't know. Maybe that should be my pick of the week.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll make that my pick of the week. So we have the 2 of them. So we've got the 2 Draculas. They're different. They're both, and this one got a bonus point for me because of the dangerously short catwalk where we almost went into a short circuit retrospective. So.
Oh gosh. Okay, next up, the Predator.
Yeah. It's like Predator. As I saw that ahead, I'm like, oh no, here we go again.
The Predator.
Yeah.
The Predator 2018 20th Century Fox, directed by Shane Black, starring Boyd Holbrook, Trevante Rhodes, and Jacob Tremblay, what is it, Brian?
Wasn't he?
What is with the Tremblays?
I don't know. Tremblay is a Canadian name, and that's how through hockey I knew there was a
Okay, so Jacob Tremblay.
Yeah.
When a young boy accidentally triggers the universe's most lethal hunter's return to Earth, only a ragtag crew of ex-soldiers and a disgruntled scientist can prevent the end of the human race. I hate disgruntled scientists.
I know, and I was thinking, like, and I'm thinking back, like, this young boy triggered the universe's most lethal hunters, and I'm like, imagine the amount of trouble he got into. I got in trouble when I broke, like, a glass table once, So where's the punishment, like, ladder in that one, What do they do? What did the parents do on that?
I don't know.
Go fight him now. It's like, you made this mess. You're going to clean it up.
No, mommy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never felt the burning desire to go see this in the theater. I guess because it got kind of mixed reviews. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I kind of like,
see it,
once I saw it coming out, the same thing. I'm like, it didn't get great reviews. I just said, I earmarked it for to finish off my Predators collection on Blu-ray anyway, so I might as well wait.
All right, next up, Brian, this is your one to guess. Okay, here we go. Monster Party. 2018. Released by RLJ Entertainment.
Okay.
Directed by Chris von Hoffman.
Hmm.
Starring Sam Strike, Virginia Gardner, and Brandon Michael Hall. Not
Okay.
Anthony Michael Hall, but
Right.
Brandon Michael Hall.
Okay, so I'm gonna like since I'm looking at the year. This is where my clue is coming from. This is year 2008, and I'm thinking what 2018. I'm sorry, 2018. That's what I meant actually. I didn't mean to say that. I saw it 2008, but I don't know why I read it wrong. But anyway, so I'm thinking. All right, here, Monster Party, based on the current political climate right now, and what our government is like at this point. I think that at least if not, this isn't it. I think this should be a movie. A young horror fan summons all the classic Universal monsters to run as a new political party for the 2020 election. I'm probably so far off, but still, wouldn't that be a great movie, though?
That would be.
Right.
That would be an awesome movie, actually. But no, you are way off.
I figured
way off.
I kind of just went with
I'm going to give you another guess. You can take one more guess.
All right, all right, so let's see. All right, so maybe it's a normal couple that happens to be having a dinner party, and one of the guests, unbeknownst to them, is some sort of creature.
Ooh, very close.
Really?
Very close, yes.
Oh.
Your second guess was almost spot on. It is a dinner party.
Okay.
Okay, so 3 teenage thieves infiltrate a mansion dinner party secretly hosted by a serial killer cult for the social elite.
Oh.
So this is like Don't Breathe mixed with, like they infiltrate the wrong house, basically.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mix of that, Hostel, and Home Alone.
Yeah.
If you ever wanted to see a movie with those three movies melded together, now you got it.
It looks kind of interesting. I don't know if it's classified as horror mystery thriller. It kind of sounds to me more on the thriller side, but I kind of want to see that one.
Yeah. That does actually sound interesting now. Although I do still want to see my original first guess of like the Universal monsters all trying to run for government positions. But,
and last on our list, The Super. 2017, Lionsgate Films, directed by Stefan Rick, starring Patrick John Pfluger, Val Kilmer.
Wow.
Where's he been
come
hiding?
from? I know. Yeah.
Louisa Krause. A man becomes the superintendent of a large New York City apartment building where people mysteriously go missing.
Okay, I will say that I really don't
Is this
have
a documentary?
I know, I don't have a desire to see this movie at all, based on either that description or the cast didn't sell me. But I do want to own the disc just for this special feature which you were about to announce.
Okay, the special feature is called He Has Your Keys. Making the Super.
that alone is... Could I just buy that featurette? That name is one of the best named featurettes I've ever heard. I love it. It's also the sequel to that is he changed your water filter.
Yeah.
He's got light bulbs.
The bastard won't fix your sink.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, so that's our dismemberment for this week. No theatrical releases to speak of because this is Christmas season. I think Aquaman's coming out. I really want to see that one.
Yeah, Aquaman comes out. I think you got Mary Poppins. You got a lot of
a lot of kids stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I want to take the kids to.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, and what's that one? Welcome to Marwen. The Steve Carell movie.
That looks
really
good.
cool.
That looks really good. Yeah.
Kind of looks like that. Remember that Small Soldiers movie?
Yeah.
That one with Kirsten Dunst. I kind of think it's obviously more serious undertone than this one, but with the backstory of it. But it still looks like amazing. It looks like that would be such a great movie to see theatrically, though, with the visuals of that on a big screen.
Yeah, I really want to see that one. All right, so our feature this week, we weren't really sure which one we were going to do because we've talked about saving Red Christmas for our last before the Christmas break.
Which, surprise, we have 1 week left, so guess what's next week?
Yeah. Well, we'd already talked about it before. Yeah. But we decided to go with an anthology. And this is one I was kind of surprised. A lot of people I talked to and told them what was coming up this week, they had not seen it. Some of my friends and coworkers had not seen it. And it is probably the closest thing we have to a Christmas-themed trick-or-treat.
Yeah, I saw someone with that description of it right before I saw it, and it was dead on. It really does feel like that. It feels like like if you literally took the trick-or-treat universe and put it into make it Christmas, that whole town or something.
Yeah, so it's surprisingly good. I had seen this one a while back, probably a year or two ago. It's a 2015 release, and I remember really liking it. But it was one of those that, it was kind of like I watched it in a string of a lot of other movies, so it wasn't like a real standout for me, although I remember I really did enjoy it. And when we kind of circled back around and decided to do it for this episode, I was really blown away by how good it was on the second viewing.
It really was great.
I think I really liked it better the second time around, really. But this one is directed by 3 directors, Grant Harvey, Stephen Hoban, and Brett Sullivan. And it stars William Shatner, George Buza, and Rob Archer.
And there's a lot of other people that you'll recognize in it.
Yeah, that's just a very, very tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, like Amy Forsyth, who was just in Hellfest. She's in there. She's in the Krampus segment. And who else was in it? It's Krampus, but she was in the she kind of ties into the first one too. She plays a girlfriend.
Yeah, I don't remember her name.
So, yeah, she had like a name that they kept something Caprice or something, I think.
Yeah, Caprice, that's what.
Yeah. But so she was in there, and then someone oh my god, and there was an actress in the Krampus segment too, though. The mother was played by she's in that TV show Saving Hope. Oh, she was one of the. So yeah, like you've seen almost everyone in this. You've seen somewhere.
Yeah,
pretty much. Oh, and the one girl was actually the girl in the opening, the segment where they go to the school. She was just on Riverdale, I think. She was a stint on Riverdale. I looked it up.
Okay.
Played like Eleanor Evermore or something like that.
Yeah, she looked familiar. She looked, really, and that's probably where I saw her was Riverdale.
Yeah, so she was just in that in season 3. So
there will be some spoilers in our discussion of this movie because it's really hard to talk about without spoilers because it has a very interesting format for an anthology. So we'll go ahead and tell you about that. The normal anthology is basically story 1, story 2, story 3 with maybe a wraparound in dividing up the segments. This one takes more of the trick-or-treat approach, but even more so than trick-or-treat.
Right. It out trick-or-treated trick-or-treat in that way.
And that all 4 of these stories actually interweave, and they cut back and forth almost like a TV episode.
Yeah.
You know how a TV episode will jump back and forth between different characters? Like a Game of Thrones or something, maybe? This one jumps back and forth between all 4 stories. But it's really incredible how you never feel lost or that you're not... I never felt confused or lost in the narrative. They do a really, really good job of interweaving these stories to keep them all kind of straight, but also still keep the tension.
Yeah, I think they just picked really good like beats on when to kind of jump to another to one of the other segments, and I think and then plus you always have William Shatner coming in between. Kind of, he's a radio DJ and he's kind of hosting a Christmas special. So he's almost like your narrator for the film at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
And I just think I got to say whoever is the editor on this film did a fantastic job with the pacing of it, because you're right, you never felt lost. I mean, granted, each story is pretty much, it's not like a complex story, but whenever you cut away to another story in the middle of one story, if it's not done right, it could be just downright confusing. But this didn't, and this one was really well conceived.
Yeah. Now, I know this movie is 3 years old. I did want to reiterate the spoiler warning because there are some really good twists in this movie.
Yeah, very good ones.
That I would hate to be spoiled. So if you haven't watched it, go check it out on Shudder. Come back after you've seen it. So fair warning. That's the last warning.
Yeah. So from now on, you will be spoiled.
It's probably better to talk about these stories separately because
I agree.
The way they're interwoven in the film would be almost impossible to try to replicate that in our discussion. So it's better just to talk about each story on its own. I will have to say, I did not think any of these stories was particularly weak.
No, they weren't. Actually, they all had a good, and nothing. And it's funny. While none of them were weak, they weren't like so, like, whoa, something we've never seen before. Really, it was just done so well. And it was like the example, the first one. And you've seen this type of. It's basically like a really, like Tim wrote. It's found footagey. It is. Because they're kind of recording stuff, but it's also, if you think about it, it's a classic ghost possession story that you've seen probably told in different ways a ton of times.
Right, yeah. And now this one, I will have to say, probably feels the least Christmassy of all of them.
Right, other than it takes place on Christmas Eve.
Right, yeah, you could actually place this story anytime, and it would not have anything to do with Christmas, which is not the case for the other stories, which are very Christmas related. So that would be maybe the one weakness of this first story. But you don't really notice it because you have William Shatner's excellent wraparounds.
Right.
They're kind of bookending it, so you never really feel like you're taken out of the Christmas season.
Right. And they do mention a couple times that it is Christmas Eve, that it is, I'm supposed to be at the, and there's little nods to some of the spoilers in that story, which I kind of referred, when I saw the twist at the end, I kind of referred back. I'm like, oh, that kid had mentioned. So it's like, you really gotta, like, this probably is definitely one that you could easily have multiple viewings of, and it's probably just as fun because you probably now start catching stuff and you see little nods and stuff.
Yeah, there are actually some connections to the stories through the wraparound,
right?
That you may not catch. I actually did not catch them on the first run through, but when I went back and read the trivia, I was like, oh yeah, I see now how that tied in and this tied in, so kind of neat. But the first one is about 3 students. Dylan, Ben, and Molly, who decide to break into their school, which was an ex-convent, to investigate the murder of 2 students. And there's some big jump scares in this segment.
Oh, yeah,
well.
I actually jumped. Actually, I wrote that down. I actually had a legit Tim jump scare. Where
now,
I was like,
yeah, I actually
it.
almost maybe it was more of a flinch for me because I had seen this before.
Right, I hadn't seen it. Remember, this is my first viewing of it. So,
but even with me having already seen it, I kind of did a little kind of wince type.
Well, it's one of the better jump scares I've seen. Actually, so timed so perfectly. I think.
So these kids decide to break into the school to investigate this murder that happened of these 2 students. And of course, like I said, it's found footagey. So they're recording this and they're kind of making like a video log, what a vlog.
Yeah.
A vlog or whatever. Shows how cool I am.
Very Blair Witch-esque, I think, the way she was handling it, Like, I got a very Blair Witchy feel to this part because, it's like, it seems like the girl was kind of, like the Heather character in Blair Witch, she was really, like, kind of, like, super, like, aggressive into getting this footage no matter what, and the other guys were like, oh, well, I don't really, I don't know if we should do this, and she's like, no, we must do it, it's like, so I think there was definitely an homage to the Blair Witch in that particular sequence. Yeah.
And I will say, when we describe these stories, just a fair warning, they sound very simple and short when you hear them just broken out by themselves. But remember, these are being interwoven with 3 other stories. So when you do that and kind of spread them out over the course of a whole movie, they don't feel so simple and short. That's
a great point, and I wonder if that's why they did choose this format for that. Because I'm wondering if you watch it, it'd be an interesting experiment if you re-edit this and just show them boom, boom, boom. Like the stories, like, in its entirety, if it would have the same, we'd interpret it, the movie the same way, and we'd have the same positive response to the movie that way.
I don't think we would. I really don't.
I don't either. Yeah.
I think these stories. I think one of the strengths is that you get these edits when there's kind of a cliffhanger moment,
right?
And then you're on to a different story, and so your mind has a kind of a chance to settle down,
right?
And you're not just getting it all over with in 10 minutes. Thing. So, yeah.
I mean, possibly the second and third ones may work. I think.
Yeah, they could.
But then again, I wouldn't tamper with it because it worked. It worked so perfectly the way it did. So.
And it's interesting, especially with the 4th story, which we'll get to. I think the fact that it was spread out over the course of the whole film actually helped the big reveal.
Oh yeah. Because,
big time.
Because there are people like, and we've said this a million times, our wives are the biggest ones that can catch a twist a mile away. And, and it's like, I have a feeling they did it this way, so you did not get that big reveal, and you weren't even remotely thinking that there would even be a twist.
Right.
Let alone guess the twist.
It was pretty brilliant.
It did not set you up that there was going to be a twist in this at all. You just thought it was straightforward anthology done creatively. That's it.
So back to story 1. So Molly ends up essentially gets possessed by the ghost of one of these murdered students.
Right.
And she, almost like a succubus, you know how they, like a sexual temptress, she tries to tempt one of the boys. I can't remember now if it was Dylan or Ben first. And
the one with it was the first one, was the one that had basically the girlfriend who gave them the keys. So he turned her down. Yeah,
he turned her down because he already had a girlfriend, which did not turn out well for him. So it's kind of hard to talk about this one because it was so spread out, and it's probably one of the least memorable ones in terms of the plot structure, because it was kind of interwoven in with some of these big set piece stories. But essentially, she kills Ben or Dylan, whichever one it was.
Billin. Let's just say one of the two.
Billin. And now I'm trying to remember what happened at the very end.
Oh, with that one?
Yeah.
Well,
she killed the one guy.
Right. So basically, the whole point was that the spirit wanted to. The reason it was killing the people because she was, I guess, denied the birth of her child. So she was kind of.
Yeah.
So that was the thing. So she had the basically was impregnated, and the ghost. Yeah,
she was trying to impregnate Molly, right, basically, to have the child, the ghost child.
And so once that took place. And I guess the Billin, whatever the second part of that guy was killed, the ghost spirit let her out. And she
That's right, yes. Yeah, because one of the guys acquiesces to her advances.
Right.
So
he had a crush on her anyway. So really,
so
in all honesty, she should have went for him first. It would have saved
a lot of time.
Minutes. Yeah, 15 minutes off their whole night. But,
so basically the ghost gets what she wants and then she lets everybody go, kind of
right.
thing.
Well, there's only one left, unfortunately. Because that Bill and both fight back or attempt to fight back.
Well, Molly and the baby get let go.
Yeah, right. They get to leave. Which has got to be one hell of an explanation how she's going to have to now explain what's going on. Because she's going to come out and two of her friends are now murdered and now she's pregnant. So where's that explanation? Yeah. Merry Christmas, Mom and Dad. Guess what? I got to tell you something. That's Wow.
So anyway, sorry about the lapse of just kind of had a memory blank on the ending of that one, because again, like I said, if there is any weaker segment, that would probably be the one I would choose. Right. But it's still really, really
and only
good,
by default because the other one was
only
so
by default, and it definitely has some great jump scares.
Right.
The next up, story 2. This one's really good. Scott Peters, a police officer, goes into the woods to illegally chop down a Christmas tree. Yes, right. A police officer illegally chops down a Christmas tree.
Yes.
And Scott's son Will wanders off. And when they find him, they start noticing some really strange things with young Will. He's acting funny. At one point, he stabs his father.
Oh my God! And he's like, and remember, because he was devouring the spaghetti, and the father goes to try and take the plate away. He stabs him with a fork.
But you know what? That is a direct lift of that movie, The Possession.
Oh, okay.
There is a scene that is identical to that in that movie.
Okay. So it seems like there was a lot of homages in this.
Yeah, because in The Possession, the young girl is eating, I think it was like pancakes or something. And she does the exact same thing. She's like voraciously eating and like gobbling them down. And like the dad's like, slow down. And she takes a fork and just jams it through his hand.
Yeah.
And when I saw this, I was like, wait a minute. That's just straight out of that other movie.
And I got to say that along with anything with eyeballs, seeing a fork get impaled into somebody's hand for some reason gives me the biggest cringes out there. I don't know what it is. I maybe because I'm such a klutz and I'm like, know that some point that's going to happen to me in my future with my own fork into my own hand. But, it's like,
here's a true story. When I was working as a bag boy, we used to always have to contend with shoplifters, right?
Uh-oh.
So, apparently, and this happened while I was there, but I did not see it happen, but I was told excitedly by other bag boys who witnessed the event that the manager caught a guy shoplifting, chased after him. The guy ran into the break room. The manager tried to tackle him. The guy fought back, and the manager stabbed the dude in the back with a fork.
The fork stabs. I don't know what it like. Look at this. This is someone that I can watch a movie where someone gets hacked by a knife and stabbed repeatedly by a knife, but something about a fork freaks me out. Getting stabbed, and I don't know what it is.
That's my fork stabbing story.
Yeah, I'm glad you had one because not many people have all those.
But yeah, this one did not end the way I thought it would. Like, I thought this one would be, basically, obviously, Will is turning into some kind of creature,
right?
Or something's going on with this kid because he's possessed or something's going on. But what we find out through the owner of the woods, actually, that Scott chopped the tree down in, is that apparently these woods are the home of. And you've heard the old fairy stories of a changeling, where the fairies would kidnap a baby and replace it with one of their own, and it looks the same but it acts weird. And that's basically what happens here. Will is a changeling, so when he comes back, he's not really Will.
No, and
it culminates in Will killing his father, or the changeling Will killing his father. Which was that was another example of those great cliffhangers, because you get to see Will's father dead, and then it's cut to the next story, and you're like, "Whoa, wait a minute! Like, what's going on?"
Yeah, and there was a creepy little moment when he's like walking in the kitchen, and you see like the fake Will like crawling on the ceiling for a split second.
Oh yeah, like, that was great.
Super creepy. Yeah, that one had some really good tension. Like I was on edge through that one.
Yeah, that one was really good. But I thought maybe it's like just Will kills everybody and that's the end of it type thing.
Yeah.
But actually, there's some redemption in this one. So Will's mother ends up figuring all this out, again, through the help of the guy that owns the woods. And she ends up bringing Will back. And did they ever say what really was changing them out? I mean, did they ever mention the word fairies or? No,
he said something. He said something on the phone about it, but it was a very brief thing, and she was like yelling at him, so it's like I think it was more distracted at her screaming back at him than I didn't necessarily catch his full description. But basically, that something that he was like the caretaker, and like you thought he was actually like watching over them, but it turns he was like trapping them, I guess, in that tree. So at some level, I guess by her kind of bringing the changeling back to where he wanted to be. And he killed the caretaker, that she basically got a reward of getting Will back. That's the way I took it. So it's a happy ending for her at some level, except now she's San's husband and got murder on her hands. So
right, yeah.
It's happy
maybe
to
not
a
the
point.
Happiest of endings.
Right. She does have her son back, which, a mother and losing a son has got to be the worst thing ever. So the fact that she's got her son back, I would still count it as a happy ending.
Yeah. And like I said, I got the changeling thing from the well-known fairy myth. I don't think they ever mentioned that they were fairies or anything.
No, they didn't say fairy. They said something. They said changeling, but they kind of, it was kind of very similar to that tale. Yeah. Just they didn't use the term fairies. I don't think that's all. Yeah. They said just changelings. I think they kept calling them so.
Story 3 kind of reminded me. I don't know if you got this feel, Brian. For some reason, it reminded me of the first story of Creepshow.
Oh my God! I was just gonna say, when you said it reminded me of, that is initially what popped into my head, because of between the grandmother character and the fact that it's like, they're all trying to go after her money and
the squabbling family sibling,
and they're just all like, they're all kind of like, at some level, deplorable characters.
It really does have that feel of the Father's Day episode in Creepshow.
Yes.
So two children, Caprice and Duncan, are traveling with their parents, Taylor and Diane, to visit Aunt Etta. And Aunt Etta is this stuffy, wealthy lady, and the parents are like, oh my God, like the minute you see them, you're like, I really hate this family.
Yeah.
They're always bickering back and forth, arguing about the family and everything. Now while they're there, there's a really cool statue of Krampus.
Yeah.
That the Duncan is messing around with.
We love our Krampus. So.
Yeah, we love our Krampus. Much to the chagrin of Etta's caretaker, by the way.
Yeah.
Gerhardt, who does not like him playing with the Krampus figure. But Duncan's a little a-hole, so he just...
Yeah, he's a little bastard, that kid.
He really is. Yeah, but Etta ends up telling them about Krampus.
And boy, by the way, they imply that he's like borderline serial killer. Because like they mention later, remember she mentioned that he like killed their pet? Or something.
Yeah,
like, that was like this kid is.
It really
not
is
a
an
good
interesting take on Krampus too.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it,
it is. Yeah.
She kind of implies like it's almost. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like very familiar to their family instead of like some mythical creature thing. It's
right.
it's like they have some intimate connection with it.
Yeah, it's like embedded in their DNA somewhere. It was real.
Really
I actually enjoyed that kind of take on it, though. You know, it's
almost as if it was like a werewolf or something. You know?
Right, like that. Like it was all within them at all times, kind of a thing. Yeah.
So anyway, the family leaves and they get in a car accident and they have to walk home, or walk to get help or whatever. And they start to get picked off by Krampus one by one, which I really like the Krampus. I mean, obviously you could tell it's a costume, in the movie, but it's like really well done. Like I something about it, I really liked it. I like the take on it. It's very simple, but it's actually very effective, and it looks just like the statue, which I thought was cool.
Right, which was another like kind of thing where you said, okay, it's got to be connected to this family because it was like basically they were like holding the statue of it or something.
Right. Yeah. But so as they get picked off one by one, finally there's a climactic battle in which Caprice actually kills Krampus.
Right.
And who is now revealed in like werewolf style to be Etta's caretaker Gerhardt from the beginning of the episode. Now, we learn through the story that Etta knew all this was going to happen, essentially. Right. And so Caprice, in her anger at her Aunt Etta, this is kind of weird. She turns into Krampus.
Right. See, this was a kind of a twist that I did not see coming at all.
Right. Yeah, I didn't either. This was like, whoa, wait a minute. What?
I'm like, what? It's this girl who's like you figure would just now inherit. I literally thought it was going to end with her and her aunt or grandmother, whatever that old lady was, like all together, like now like this dynamic duo because she's like she survived and she's the good one, and the aunt was all happy. So I was like, when all of a sudden she realized she'd start getting this rage towards the thing, I'm like, okay, she's definitely part of this family. Because she's now got this deplorable side. I mean, other than giving the keys away to the school when she shouldn't have. But then, and now she's going like, she just like totally turns into Krampus of all things, which again, like almost cements our theory that like it's, that Krampus is embedded in this family, not everywhere.
Think about it. It's really a werewolf story. It really is.
Yeah. It's Krampus if he were a werewolf.
You could replace Krampus with a werewolf and have the same effect of a story.
Yeah, it was like American Krampus in London, basically, is what we got.
Although it was in Bailey Downs. But...
Yes, in Bailey Downs at that point, yeah.
Speaking of which, we might as well go ahead and talk about that.
I saw your little trivia piece. That was interesting. I didn't catch that.
The film takes place in a fictional town called Bailey Downs, which was also the town featured in the Ginger Snaps films. Again, werewolf. So maybe there is some connection there.
And I also took it, was it a nod to It's a Wonderful Life with George Bailey? Was that like Bailey too? I wonder if they...
Possibly, yeah. And then it's also featured in the series Orphan Black. There's one of the clones is from Bailey Downs.
So is this like a Castle Rock kind of a deal with like...
kind of thing.
Like a Stephen King thing? Or
the trivia went into actually a little more detail. I did not put in the rundown about why this is, but I think it was one of the producers of Orphan Black was also a producer on this or director or something like that. There was a behind the scenes tie into that.
So is there like a crazy Bailey Downs universe going on that we don't know about?
I don't know.
Or now do know about, I guess?
Yeah. So anyway, but that's kind of interesting. So yeah, she turns into Krampus, and then this is interesting too because now Krampus features in our last story as well.
He does. That's the part I didn't quite get where that connection was.
I think it's just meant to mislead the audience.
Is it?
Okay, I don't know that I don't know there is a real connection. I think maybe it's just a thing to mislead the audience into thinking there is a connection when there really isn't.
Yeah, because it did mislead me.
Yeah, me too. So the story 4 is probably the most Christmassy of the bunch, of course.
Oh, absolutely.
And the one featured on the box art, but and we get again,
and this opened the movie too, didn't it?
Yeah, I was about to say we're talking about this at the end, but you have to remember again, these stories are interwoven. So this is one of the first segments you see, and this one was probably by far my favorite. I just really enjoyed. I like the effects in this one. I like the makeups and the action and stuff. But Santa's elves start turning into zombies. Essentially, one of them gets infected. And what was his name? I'm trying to remember his name now.
Is it Jingles?
Jingles
was one of them.
It was a very elfy name.
Yeah, it was. One was definitely Jingles.
Yeah.
And one was like Springy, or they all had like the elf names. That was the thing. That was what was funny. They all had like classic. Oh yeah, it was Jingles.
Yeah.
So
but if you can imagine if Santa Claus
and Sparkles was the other one.
Sparkles, yeah.
Yeah. So,
imagine if Santa Claus were Ash and the elves were the evil dead. That's kind of what this is.
That's exactly what it is.
That's what it is.
Oh my God, that's a great analogy to it. That's exactly what it reminded me of. Because even like some of the Santa Claus reactions were like, I'm like, oh my God, you could see like him going like, groovy.
Yeah,
like,
it really is. It's very much got that feel to it. Like I can't imagine there was not some homage to the Evil Dead in this.
Oh, this is like homage central. This literally
it really
is.
Yeah.
Like I bet you every time you watch it, you'll catch like another homage to a horror film, and that's what makes it, I think, so brilliant because it kind of, when you see something familiar but like subtle, like this one does it sometimes. I mean, obviously, I guess in the Changeling one, not so subtle, but in the other ones where it's just a subtle little nod and something reminds you of it, it automatically, you kind of get endeared into the film, and it kind of almost brings you in and keeps you in there.
Yeah. But this one, man, this is basically Santa Claus fighting zombies.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to see that, that's what this story is. But this one by far has the best twist of them all.
Oh my God, does it ever?
So, this whole movie, you're immersed in the Christmas spirit. You're watching a movie with Santa Claus fighting elves and everything. You're buying into Krampus. You're buying into all this mythology. Changelings, magic, everything. So you totally are on board with Santa Claus fighting undead elves. When it's revealed at the very end that this Santa Claus is not the real Santa Claus. This is a mall Santa.
Yeah.
And he has had a psychotic break. He sees his coworkers as zombie elves.
Yeah.
And he is going to town murdering them. And he actually has a big final showdown with Krampus, which ends up being his store manager, I think.
Yeah, and it's he's the store manager. And I guess also, it's like he was the guy in the beginning that you see for like 2 seconds, right? That was in that gave like he wrote like F Christmas or something to.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like there is clues throughout this movie that this is what's happening, and you hear about they keep referencing this mall and a disturbance. A mall and a disturbance, and William Shatner is saying like, and he's getting more stressed out and drunk about it because he's got a personal connection. You find out, and he's just so it's like and then the kid in the first one says, "I'm supposed to be at the mall, helping out with the what was it? Some kind of, was it a meal thing or a gift thing?
Yeah.
Or something? And then and then you find out that one of the girls that was there was like working at that section, and so there's so many little nods through it out the whole time and clues that like what's going on, but you are so immersed in all the stories. Like Tim said, like at this point, sure, why not? Why aren't we watching the real Santa Claus fight zombies at the North Pole? Yeah. Why not? And it's like, and so that's what's so brilliant about it. And like it says, I mean, I know I teased, I said, like Julie and Olivia always figure things out my way. Usually I'm like, if I like can sense a twist, I'll like start watching the movie differently. But this one is done so brilliantly that you don't expect a twist.
No.
Why would you? None of the segments really have a twist to it. None of the there's no like reason to believe that you're going to get hoodwinked at the end.
Yeah, it's really brilliant. I really like. In fact, I mean, even watching the second time, it had been a while since I watched it, and I had actually forgotten how big the twist was at the end of the segment. Like it actually got me a second time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it has been a while. It's probably been 2 or 3 years since I saw this. I think I saw it right after it came out.
Yeah, and again, it's like that's the brilliance of it. You were pulled back into the movie to the point of where you literally forgot that there was going to be a twist.
Mm-hmm. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, guys, check this one out. Like I said, it's on Shudder. Great Christmas anthology. I could see me watching this one every year, just like I do.
Oh yeah,
Days of Halloween and Trick or Treat for Halloween. This one definitely, because I mean, where are you going to find a Christmas horror anthology? That's just awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, this one's going to be right in there with for my Christmas horror collection of that, Red Christmas, Black Christmas, Krampus. Like it's in that rotation now.
Yeah.
Because it's like this is one of those movies where you want to show it to somebody who hasn't seen it and watch their reaction through it.
Yeah, really.
But you have to be careful because you don't want to tell them. You just say, "Oh, let's watch this," but just keep an eye on them. Don't kind of look at them too much, or they'll say, "What the hell are you looking at me for this whole time?" What am I expecting? Then they're going to start to get suspicious that something shocking is going to happen. Just say it's a great movie and watch it with them, and then keep an eye on them because I'd love to see other people's reactions who haven't seen it at that twist.
Yeah,
see if
it really is good. All right, guys. So we have a really good beer pairing this week, and one of my actual favorites.
Mine
Christmas
too.
Beers. I love this one, Bryce. That was a great
beer.
pick. So tell us all about Mad Elf.
Yeah, so Mad Elf by Trogs Brewing Company. I had this for the first time last year. Actually, one of the beer places suggested it. They actually gave it to us free. It was kind of funny. We had just moved into the thing, and I think Seth knew the guy at this beer thing, so we were kind of we were chit chatting him, and we had buy some other stuff. He goes, "Have you have Mad Elf yet?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "Here, try this one." So I'm me. So he gave us one. And I tried it, and I think I had it on the podcast actually, one of the other, and it was delicious. I loved it. In fact, it was like as I was pairing this, I'm like, I don't have any, and I saw it the other day. Why didn't I pick it up? And so now I think this week, next time I'm by the beer place, I'm gonna go swing in and go grab it because it's fantastic. And so so it's 11% ABV, so it's pretty strong.
Oh man, Trogs, I like their Troganator, and that thing's
yeah.
like 10 point something. Like these things will lay you out.
Trogs is really good. If you have it, also Nimble Giant is a great one. If you have, you should try that one. There's one of their IPAs is really good. So I broke this down because this was Trogs site actually broke it down by malt and hops and everything. So it was kind of cool. So the malts are chocolate, Munich, and Pilsner. I'm sorry, the malts. Yeah, the malts are chocolate, Munich, and Pilsner. The hops are Hallertau, Saaz, which I've never heard of either one of them. Yeah, it's like double A. And it kept, stupid Google Drive kept autocorrecting it to Saab. And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to get a car here. I'm trying to put a hop down. And then they actually add the yeast, which is spicy Belgian. And that's what's so good about this beer. It's got a really a lot of flavors going on, and Tim had suggested. He did say, he goes, I was like, what? I wonder what we should pair. The Christmas beers are hard to, movies are sometimes hard to match up with a beer, and he said, just find for this one. He goes, find one that has a lot of stuff going on, kind of almost an anthology beer. So that's why this one was great. So what their description is, it says the holiday at Trogs start with our inner mad elf momentarily taking over the brew deck. So blame him, in quotes, it says, for this cheerful ruby red creation reminiscent of ripened cherries, raw honey, and cocoa with notes of cinnamon, clove, and allspice. It says we taste chocolate malt, cherries, honey, and peppercorn. And that's what it is. There's this sweetness and chocolatey flavor with a hint of spice and another sweetness. So it's really, really a delicious flavor of beer. It's definitely one of my favorites. So I think I'm gonna definitely go out and grab that one. See, that's the perfect thing. Grab a 6-pack of that, sit down and watch this movie. You're gonna have one hell of a night. You will.
Well, one of my favorite candies to receive on Christmas, and my mom and everybody knows this, is chocolate-covered cherries. I love my little boxes of chocolate-covered cherries, and so this one reminds me a lot of that because it has that chocolate malt taste. It's got the cherry taste. So, it's a great holiday beer. I really, 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 really like it.
I know. Aren't you like wishing you had one right now after just talking about it?
Yeah, although I probably don't need one after these two celebrations.
Yeah, and I just had my eggnog and bourbon. And that's the funny thing. So it's just another little funny nod to the movie. So it starts off in typical. This has got to be one of the most overdone Christmas jokes in whatever Christmas movie it is, where you literally a character is starting with eggnog and bourbon, and then just by the end they run out of eggnog, but always still have plenty of bourbon.
That's right.
And that's William Shatner the whole time. He's like, you see him first. He starts off. He's like, He's like, I'm in the festive spirit, so I'm going to pour myself a cup of eggnog. Then he starts slurring his speech later on, and then you see he's just literally pouring the bourbon directly into the empty glass. He's out of eggnog. But I still love it. That joke never gets old to me.
No.
So, and, who doesn't love a good bourbon either? So
that's right.
Win-win.
So, guys, it's kind of sad week. This is our last 6 Degrees of Decapitation.
Well, the answer. We don't even have a new one.
No, we don't have that. Yeah, you're right. This is just the answer to last week.
And it's funny how it happened. Now, it's kind of like it kind of came at the right time because just a little backstory. I use a site that Tim had given me called Oracle of Bacon, which lets you well, now that I told you, I guess it doesn't matter because it's not going to happen anymore. But that's how I used to find the matches. I would plug this in, and it would literally boom, like almost like a computer, like an auto-generated thing would spit out the connections and everything linked to IMDb. Well, apparently IMDb somehow must have found out about it, and I guess they were not authorizing it, so they basically blocked the link to IMDb. So Oracle Bacon has been rendered useless, which means I am not going to sit there and spend 5 hours to try and create these links. So, but we were planning on, we decided somewhere, I think mid-season, we basically said, because, we'd like every season we would have a new trivia or game piece. So we'd already kind of decided what was going to replace it. So kind of as like a little Christmas gift to you guys, we're going to give you it's like opening that one gift on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Before the regular gifts, we're starting our game 2 episodes early. So, but Tim will finish off first with our final 6 degrees of decapitation. I wish we could have ended on a better one though. I'll tell you, this is gonna be a random one. But so Tim will read this, and then we'll move on, and we'll explain our new game.
All right. So last week we asked you to connect Peter Jacoby to Lou Jacoby. Peter Jacoby was in Stillipidoo. Stillipidoo?
Your guess
what in
is
the
as
world
good
is
as
that?
mine. I don't know.
Stillipidoo with Crystal Elling. Crystal Elling was in Drunk on Love with Jane Asher, and Jane Asher was in Charlie Moon with Lou Jacoby.
And bonus points if you've seen any of those films.
Really? Stillipidoo. Hey,
yeah.
Hey, you got any of that Stillipidoo?
I know. It sounds like it would almost be like one of those special features on one of those packed discs, it's like an interview at Stillipidoo Studios or something.
Yeah. Do not use Stillipidoo.
Yes.
If you
may cause giant eyeball.
If you are drinking alcohol or pregnant.
Yeah.
Or drinking alcohol while pregnant.
Yeah, both the no-nos. Oh, yeah.
Our new game is interesting. We don't really have a name for it yet.
No, other than, but we did describe it. It was definitely not our original game. It was inspired by our good friend Dan, the T-shirt guy.
Yeah, so we'll come up with a name, or if you guys hear this and want to suggest a name, let us know. So this is a game inspired by, again, like Brandon said, Dan the T-shirt guy's Guess the Coaster game. And in the Guess the Coaster game, what he would do is he would give us 3 clues. And we would have to guess the coaster based on his 3 clues. And these were really hard.
Yeah, he was a devious mastermind.
Mastermind.
One hell of a nice guy. It's like his sinister side came out with these trivia questions because these would rack. And we were in our little group chats, and some of them would literally go on for a week.
Yeah,
trying to figure out the answer.
And you think, well, how could it be that hard? It's a roller coaster.
And this was a group of coaster nerds. Literally, it was all our coaster group.
No, it was crazy. I'm hoping we can even come close to doing the kind of puzzles that he did.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely trying, but
so what we're gonna do is we're gonna give you the type of what you're looking for. So example, it might be a fictional character, it might be an actor or actress, it might be a director, it might be a movie, but it's going to be something related to horror. And then we're going to give you 3 clues. And some of these clues may be more obscure than others, but all 3 will be true to this movie.
Yes.
And we're going to try to craft it in such a way that they will be unique to this, whatever the answer is.
Right.
So as an example, Brian, go ahead and give us the example of the one you came up with. This is like a very, very easy one to show you how this will work.
Yeah, just to give you just the idea, so you know what you're looking for in this. So the type is fictional character. And so it says, number 1, I'm not much of a talker. Number 2, I like sports equipment, but not sports. In particular, I hate swimming. And 3, I sometimes have been referred to as a mama's boy. Now, obviously, that's a extremely easy one because, and then we'd say, who am I? And if you're a horror fan of any level, you should guess Jason Voorhees.
Right.
So that's kind of where we're going with it. So, and now we have, if you want to do this one, this is our challenge. Then we'll give the answer like we always do next week. And we actually have facts. I include the facts on our side. So, so we can, when we do read the answer, we'll give you, because some of the clues, like Tim said, are going to be cryptic. So we'll explain the answers. So as we do them each week, you may start now getting better at the game because you'll start looking for things. Because that's how we kind of started getting better at the coaster game. Because we started noticing little patterns and little tricks and stuff. So they were still difficult, but at least you weren't like completely dumbfounded and outmatched.
Well, the reason I really like this game is because our season 1 was, of course, just IMDb trivia essentially,
right?
And you could go look that up,
right?
You could Google that. Our second game was extremely difficult to try to figure any of those out without using Oracle of Bacon or some other site.
Yeah, and it like in all honesty, it was like I was kind of getting, and Tim and I were getting kind of bored at like even coming up with them. I mean, it was really wasn't, and I can't imagine it was fun for you guys either.
Yeah. So this one, I feel like is not only something that's gonna be fun for me and Brian to create these puzzles. I think it's one that you guys would actually enjoy solving because you can't just Google it.
Right.
There's a little bit of legwork you're gonna have to do, and you can't just use a site to figure it out. You really have to actually try to figure this one out on your own.
Right. And so, we'd love to, obviously, if you get we won't reveal the answer to you until the episode, but feel free to contact us through like through Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, whatever you want to do with your guesses and the answers. And then obviously if you guess it right, we'll announce you on the show that you got it right.
So this week is a fictional character, and here are your clues. Clue number 1: I have appeared in many movies and TV shows as recently as 2018. Number 2, I have been the focus of haunted attractions at 2 different theme park chains. And number 3, I'm not always around, but at some point you can count on me to appear. Who am I?
Yes, so that is your challenge. You get a week.
Yep. So I think these are going to be a lot of fun, actually.
Oh, yeah. I because usually I take this, but I know Tim's going to want to like jump in and probably start creating a bunch too, because it's actually fun to create these.
Yeah, these are really fun, yeah.
And they're fun to do. You I guarantee, like you get these things and you're going to start analyzing these questions. And you know what we should start doing to be fair? Because it's one thing we read them out, but I know sometimes reading it and enunciate could confuse it. So maybe we should also maybe post it like on our social media pages too, the 3 clues. So you can actually get so you always have it with you and you're not like scrolling back in the podcast to listen to them and stuff. So that'd probably be a good thing. Yeah. We'll just post them out there and we'll make sure everyone can get a chance. And hopefully, and obviously, let us know if you like this game, because I think give it a couple of weeks and it'll really grow on you, because like it really is fun to solve on both sides of it, in all honesty. Because at one point, remember, we were all like, we were coming back to Dan with our own, and he'd pretty much guess it in one try.
Yeah.
But so it a little got less fun for
it takes some skill to definitely create these. So
yeah. So, and I think I got a good one on this one. I think I got some good clues on this that make it easy if you have a vast knowledge, but hard if you just in general.
So guys, remember to get your iTunes reviews in, because if you do, you will be entered into a drawing for a Civil Gore prize pack with lots of goodies from our prize closet, and maybe an autographed copy of Paul Blart too. Maybe.
Yes.
I don't know.
I mean, even though Cody gets the original, of course, she's getting you. Cody, I know you're listening. You will get a Paul Blart too.
Yeah.
Come hell or high water at some
Not
point.
autographed by anybody associated with the movie, just me and Brian.
Yeah, just us. Which probably is probably better than the actual people in the movie autographing it.
No
offense to Kevin James. I love Kevin James, but he missed on that one.
I mean, us autographing Paul Blart 2 actually devalues the copy of Paul Blart 2.
Which I did not think was possible.
So don't get too excited.
Yeah.
But anyway, so get your iTunes reviews in. I know it's a pain. I know you hate iTunes. I know you don't want to write a whole paragraph. Just do it and get... Because it takes 5 minutes and you might win something really cool.
Yeah, Tim's been collecting some really good prizes there. And now it's almost fun because now we'll start to keep our eyes open for good little things to put in a nice big prize pack,
Yeah, and one thing I have committed to in our prize pack is there will be a really good Blu-ray in there.
Ooh,
not just Paul Blart 2, I'm going to commit to a really one that I would want to own.
Oh, and that's good. And so now you can now people's minds are racing back. What's Tim's pick of the week? What was Tim's pick of the week?
Yeah.
So
you know what? I'll even make it one of my picks of the week.
Oh,
going back. I'll go find a pick of the week.
That our friends in the business is known as sweetening the pot.
We're sweetening the pot.
Yes.
I'm making you an offer you can't refuse.
Yes, Tim has jumped a pound of sugar into our concoction of prizes.
So get those iTunes reviews in, and you'll get a shout out on the show for whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
But yeah, so guys, we will see you back next week. Next week, again, will be our last episode before our I think we're doing 3 weeks, Brian.
Yeah, it's going to be
break.
3 weeks. We were talking about possibly throwing in a little something, either a recap or something, or in between. But, we'll definitely provide some, we'll still, our social media will be active. And, I'll be visiting California and stuff, so I'm going to try and take a trip over to where they filmed Halloween. I heard you can go by there. You can't go in, of course, but you can go take pictures in front, and of course any kind of horror movie scenes that it's anything related, we'll take pictures. And there is a thing that I'm supposed to be going to. I won't mention it on the show yet until we get there, because it'll be kind of fun to surprise everybody, and I'll take pictures from there too, which will be kind of cool. I'm looking forward to it, so I'm hoping we can swing that off, but you'll find out. So keep an eye, obviously, on our social media, even during the 3-week break.
Yeah, and use that 3 weeks to catch up on shows on your backlog. And we'll see you back here next year after next week's episode.
Yeah, we got one more coming.
Got one more.
So it will be Red Christmas. So definitely watch if you guys want to be because that's another one that kind of has little twistiness to it. So you may want to watch it. So you can hear our show without having to
definitely
stop it again and then go back.
All right, guys. We will see you back here next week. Have a great holiday season. Get that shopping done.
Yes, see you next week, guys.